former heavyweight champion of the world twice, passed away, I believe today. And so I don't like to dwell on the way someone died, but obviously Big George had a wonderful life, two-part career, Olympic gold medalist, came out of if you saw the George Foreman film, I think it came out 2 summers ago, summer of 2023, going by memory. I thought it was a pretty decent film, and but just some personal memories. For me, it was the comeback era when George came back. They being the pundits, the supposed experts in sports and boxing, all kind of made fun of George Foreman's comeback until he started piling up victory over victory. I believe it was a battle with George Clooney, not George Clooney, what's that guy's name? Jerry Cooney. Jerry Cooney. They had a fight, I think it was called the Geezers at Caesars. Now, I've never seen this fight, but they had a fight. Foreman won. Jerry Cooney was a former heavyweight contender who Larry Holmes destroyed. And so that kind of, because George won that fight, people took him a little more seriously. And then he got a title shot with Evander Holyfield. Now, Holyfield had just beaten Buster Douglas, who had just beaten Mike Tyson. And this was Holyfield, I believe his very first title defense was against George Foreman. And all the pundits were kind of predicting, okay, Holyfield's just taking this because he knows he's going to walk through Foreman, and that'll warm up Holyfield for Tyson. And, Tyson was coming off a loss himself against Buster Douglas. Sorry, I'm a little tired here. But, everyone just thought Holyfield would just get by Foreman 6 or 7 rounds, knock him out. The ref would stop it. That was the prediction. And Foreman went all 12 rounds with Evander Holyfield, a guy that was probably, 18 years younger than him, something like that at the time. This was 1990, I believe. And Foreman won a lot of respect. I don't think he won 1 round of the fight. I think it was a shutout or close to a shutout, 12 rounds to 0. But Foreman went the distance with Holyfield, and Foreman continued to do quite well in the heavyweight division. And he kind of just, bounced around and stuck around in there. And eventually, he had a match. I'm trying to think of what happened first. I think the first one was he got another title shot, and it wasn't until like 3.5 years later. A gentleman by the name of Michael Moore, not the filmmaker, but a boxer named Michael Moore, had defeated Holyfield. Now, Holyfield, I think, had already had 2 of the 3 fights with Riddick Bowe, and then they put him in there with Michael Moore, and Moore, had defeated Holyfield. And then our buddy there, George Foreman, goes in. Hello, Lego Man. Hello, Dylan Thomas. Our buddy Foreman goes in there to fight Michael Moore, and he's losing the fight. Foreman's losing the fight. And somehow he scores a big punch on the chin, the chinny chin chin, and he knocks out this young champion, Michael Moore. He knocks him down, knocks him out. So it was a good old-fashioned KO victory. It wasn't a 3 knockdown rule or anything like that. He just knocked him out. So George Foreman was the heavyweight champion of the world, I want to say 1994 at the age of 44, if my mind is calculating this. I'm not Googling, folks. So Big George had the title, and George Foreman has passed away, Bulk Bunch. From what I understand, I'll double check that, unless I'm getting, hello, good morning, Toys with Packs. But the reports I'm getting, unless I saw some type of fake information, which I hope I didn't, well, I guess I do hope I was fake information. But from what I understand, George Foreman, the boxer, oh, George Foreman is alive. Oh, gee whiz. Nope, I'm seeing that George Foreman did pass away at age 76. So I guess it depends on who you ask. Hello, Toys with Packs. Stop yapping. This is YouTube. You realize that, Bulk Bunch Gaming. Stop yapping. What are you telling me? I don't think I enjoy this individual. Your horrible comments. I'm putting you in timeout. You deserve a timeout. No, get your behavior together. So George Foreman dies at 76. He had originally defeated Joe Frazier in 1973, came back in the 90s to beat Michael Moore. And yeah, and he had all these kids. I remember I read, George wrote a book at one point, and he had named all his children George. Like, if you ever read the George Foreman autobiography, he had like 7 or 8 kids, and he gave them all the same name of George. And the reason, he said, is he wanted all his kids to have his name. George Foreman, Mig, he's a boxer. Skibdale. I hope that's not some type of horrible thing that I just said to get this guy to subscribe. Hopefully that's just an inside joke. Now you're looking at this wonderful painting that I made. I made this painting, and this painting is not of George Foreman. It's of a fictional character, Sweet Sugar Brown, that's featured in my wonderful novel. Yes, I wrote it. Fight or play basketball, every shot counts. And there's a character in this book that was kind of a, how I would describe as George Foreman on a bad day. So George Foreman, you know, he was, I already said that horrible thing. I'm sure it's some horrible thing in England or wherever it is. But I did say it. I did say your words there. Let's talk about George Foreman, for Christ's sakes. This is what happens. It's like I'm dog sitting this puppy, and if you let the puppy take control, then he's going to do all types of crazy things, and I'm going to lose my mind dealing with this puppy. But if you tell the dog that I'm in control, I'm the master, and the dog is the four-legged beast, and you guys, no offense, but you're the four-legged beast, you're the dog, I'm going to have to take control of this thread. George Foreman is dead. So this is not a time for jokes and having fun. This is a time for reminiscing and paying homage and thinking about George Foreman. He had a wonderful boxing career. He was defeated by Muhammad Ali, but that turned his life around. He went to a life of Jesus and Christ and everything godlike. He became a pastor, a man of the cloth. He did commentary for HBO. He fought boxing fights. He sold hamburger pressers. This guy had a life. He had a wonderful life, and we all have to celebrate that. So these horrible comments in the comment sections, it's like a horrible puppy that can't behave. So you all have to behave properly. And I want you all to be sharing this homage, this tribute, this silence, this respectful tribute to George Foreman that I'm trying to share with you assholes. So George Foreman died for your sins, you YouTube commenters. George Foreman was the offering to God for you people. He fought, he won, he lost some, he fought some, he had children. All these wonderful things that he did for you and for me. So let's celebrate George Foreman. If you need to know what's a great George Foreman fight, obviously the Michael Moore victory. Probably the one we beat Joe Frazier was great. So many wonderful fights. Just a wonderful individual at age 45, not even 44, age 45, he defeated Michael Moore. What have you guys done? I'm doing the best I can, Pepito. Thank you very much for your concern. Just some of these comments here have been disrespectful to the legacy that is George Foreman. I'm trying to educate these people on the greatness of George Foreman, and there seems to be a lack of regard and caring and compassion. I know it's YouTube, and we're all just having fun, trolling and commenting and being rude, but at times like this, when George Foreman, of all people, has passed away, I think we need to pay respects, which I'm sure you're doing, Pepito. I just wish that some of these other folks would get with the program here. So here's to George Foreman. I'm drinking this warm Waterloo sparkly water in your honor. I'm remembering the great George Foreman fights. And that's it. Good night, gentlemen. Learn some.